Welcome. It's indisputable. I'm your host, Rashad Richey. Good to be with you. We have a lot on the agenda today. Breaking down news of the day, none other than the big homie, Jeff Wiggins, Rebel HQ contributor and host of We Gonna Be All Right. Always a fascinating breakdown. First story of the day, another discriminatory practice, another discriminatory act against a black woman because of her hair. It now pays out $800,000. Let's put up this example full mass. You see, that's a hairstyle. That hairstyle is typically worn by black women. A company decided to fire a black woman because of a hairstyle like that. We have laws against these things now. Let me give you the background. Here's the company she worked for a brief period of time, called Dynamic Security. A black woman has now been awarded $800,000 after she was fired over locs in Montgomery, Alabama. Davita Key filed a lawsuit after she was fired from Dynamic Security after being told that she could not wear her hair in locks back in 2017. Key says she was hired by Dynamic Security to work at the Hyundai plant as a clerk in the mailroom. During her interview, she was told that her shoulder-length locks did not violate company policy. After beginning work on July 31st, 2017, with her hair styled the same way it was during the job interview, Ms. Key claimed that after she advised the supervisor and the manager, Gloria Robinson and Maurice Chambliss, that she was pregnant and provided a doctor's note clearing her for work without restrictions, she was informed that she could now not wear her hair in the locks. Ms. Key says that despite her offering to wear a hat or change her hair, she was terminated days later and told it was because she was unwilling to abide by the HEA dress code. Her termination came from another manager, Ms. Cassandra Williams, who was advised about her pregnancy. So what's happening here? So the company thought they would be slick, right? They said, okay, we're going to tell her this is about her hair. And we're going to put on record, this is about your hair, even though she was hired with the same hairstyle. And the policy talks about length of hair rather than hairstyle itself, all right? So they thought they could bypass some legal dynamic or legal issue in the future because they did not say, hey, this is because you're pregnant and we don't care about motherhood here. So it seems more efficient to say, well, this is about the dress code. It's completely out of our hand. Massive backfire. There's more. About 10 to 20 minutes after Ms. Key gave the doctor's note to Robinson, who had since returned to the office, she shared with Williams. Williams came out of the office and had a question for Ms. Key. What's wrong with your hair? The lawsuit reads. Williams then returned to her office without saying more. Key then began her training for the job, but was interrupted an hour later and asked to go to Williams' office, where she was told, hey, your hair is an issue now. About an hour into the training, Chambliss retrieved Miss Key from the mailroom to meet with Robinson in her office. When Key arrived, Williams and Robinson began questioning Miss Key about her hairstyle. The suit continued. Williams and Robinson responded that while it might comply with Dynamic's personal appearance standard, her hair did not comply with HEA's standard. Key was let go after only 2 days on the job and filed a lawsuit against Dynamic Security for violating the Civil Rights Act of 1964 pursuant to pregnancy and race. There's more. When I think about my hair, that is racial, she said. That is my hair. It's my race. That's who I am as an African American woman. The texture of my hair is like this because I am African American. This is the texture of my hair. And the reason the texture is like this is because of my race. She added that that she only filed a lawsuit as a last resort. I did that after speaking to them and feeling like my voice was just not heard and I was not taken seriously. Her attorney, Leslie Palmer, noted that the federal law protects Black people from being terminated because of their hair texture. Wearing an afro is protected, said Palmer. The circuits are split as to whether dreadlocks fall into texture or style. You have what's called competing rulings in the federal court. More than 40 local governments in 20 states have already enacted the Crown Act, which expands protection against Black hair discrimination. But Alabama is not one of them. The jury sided with Ms. Key after a 3-day trial and awarded her $800,000. She was there for 2 days. Okay? You got to understand, racism will cost you money as an agency. If you do not provide a structured approach to get rid of racist elements inside of your agency, then whatever comes is on you, because leadership would dictate you understand that there are racist components in America, and some of those racist components may trickle into your agency. When they do, when those decisions are made, especially by mid-level and high-level management, you have a systemic and cultural racist problem at your business. 2 days. And now the company will pay $800,000 because of their own malfeasance. And here's the thing. She waited a while before filing the lawsuit, and you have to file at some point just to retain the ability to be heard in court. Statute of limitations do apply in civil suits. So she attempted to have a conversation. What did she say? My voice was not heard. My voice was not heard. It would have been simple to have a conversation, understand the sensitivities that were violated, and try to move in a way that at least showed this woman you believe she's worthy of dignity. But because you did not, you got to pay out damn near $1 million because your management thought they were being slick. All right, Jeff, thoughts on this?
Big homies in the neighborhood that I grew up with was simply saying, it's cheaper to keep her. Davita King right. Not only deserves every penny of this money, but she's right. This is an issue with an African-American hairstyle because of African-American texture. That texture being almost exclusively 4C hair texture for Black people. If people don't know what 4C means, look up the Andre Walker hair typing system. It's right there. With all that being said, this story reminds me of all the times that I hear from people who don't like affirmative action. One, they neglect to mention the fact that affirmative action benefits a lot of different races in America, not just Black people. But then there's this. There needs to be a way to level the playing field, because there are Black people who, if you have a Black sounding name, you can't even get an interview. And clearly, if you have Black style as far as hair or texture, you may not even get in the door. So this discrimination is costing companies, and I'm glad it is. And I'm glad her pockets are lined. Hopefully we can give her back some dignity and she can get some gainful employment in the future. Because, I mean, look, my name is Jeff Wiggins. It's European. I never had to consider that. But being a Black man with 4C hair, I never had to think about that either. So Black women, we need to do better by them.
Very well said, dear brother. And we will follow this because the company itself should enact a program, establish a method to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else. A teenager shot, killed by the police. Video just coming out. Here it is.
1031.
He's pulling off.
Vehicle is 1099. 3342, I'm adding you.
You should be advised, there's a D1 car right down the road.
I stopped it right before the gunshot started. Put up the pictures full mass. Let me explain to you what has happened in this country. See that young black male, 17 years of age, in Greensboro, North Carolina. The young Nasanto Antonio Crenshaw was gunned down by an officer with the Greensboro Police Department while fleeing a traffic stop August of last year. You see, they did not immediately give us access to this video. We have it now. Let me give you first the police account of the shooting. According to the Greensboro Police Department, the teenager, Mr. Crenshaw, was driving a stolen vehicle when he was stopped on West Market Street. They said two other teenagers, ages 17 and 15, were riding inside of the vehicle. Greensboro police say as officers approached the car, the young Crenshaw took off. When the vehicle was stopped for a second time, several teens jumped out and ran away. WRAL News has been told while police were trying to detain the other passengers in the car, Crenshaw hit the gas, ramming a patrol car. Police say he hit the gas again, and that's when he was shot. So I'm going to give you the screenshots. And the screenshots indicate the 3 shots that were fired at the teen. So each screenshot represents another shot at the teen. Okay. Now, according to the police, they were shooting in these scenes. Why? Because obviously their lives were in danger. Okay. What danger do you see? Let's put up the mother. Okay. It's always a mother. Crenshaw's mother, who obviously is distraught still. It's not something you just get over. Her name is Wakita Doherty. Miss Doherty told WRAL News that she doesn't understand why they had to use deadly force. And she says her son was unarmed. Why couldn't you shoot out the tires? Why couldn't you throw down some strips? She poses those questions while crying. Anything besides shooting him dead. That's what you did. You shot him dead. I mean, them just facts, end quote. Let me give you the dispute over the vehicle even being stolen. The vehicle was called in stolen, okay, by a Fort Bragg soldier who did not want to be identified. Miss Doherty says Crenshaw, the 17-year-old, told her the soldier had loaned him the car. Crenshaw used the car to drive to Greensboro with a group of friends from Fayetteville, but did not return in time, according to Miss Doherty. The mother said that the woman was upset with the young Crenshaw and called the police and reported the car as stolen. The soldier told WRAL News a different side of the story, said that Crenshaw stole her car and she did not give him permission to drive it. Now, naturally, this is something that really may not be argued. Why? Because the person being accused is dead. That's why. This possibly could be very true. But once again, the courts may not be the adequate place to weigh the evidence because the individual, once again, being accused of stealing the vehicle is no longer here. There's more. Let's put up the lawyers who are representing the family. Crenshaw's family, they're being represented by nationally renowned civil rights attorneys, Harry Daniels, John Barris, as well as Shamika White. They all filed a federal lawsuit in connection to the killing. They put the following statement. We got an email this morning from the law firm. It says District Attorney Avery Crump and the Greensboro Police Department have hidden the truth for long enough. But now that this video is public, it's undeniable. Even after they have tried to put their spin on it, the facts are clear. Corporal Sletton's life was never in danger. Nasanto Crenshaw, the young 17-year-old, was never a threat. He was scared, he was unarmed, he was running for his life when this officer gunned him down and killed him. The wheels of the car were clearly turned away from Corporal Sletton, and he simply wasn't in the car's path when he fired the shots. The front of the car had passed when he fired his second, and the car had passed entirely when he fired the third shot, killing the young Nasanto and barely missing a 14-year-old sitting on the passenger seat. The corporal and district attorney may not know the difference between a passing car and one trying to run you over, but the people do. Prosecutors charge killers every day across America with less evidence than this video, but apparently District Attorney Crump thinks a badge is a license to kill, end quote, from the law firm. Let's put up the people supposedly in charge. Your DA, Avery Crump, and Greensboro Police Chief, John Thompson. Let me say this. When I received this story, and I was looking over the elements of the video as well as the commentary from the attorneys, from the law office, I remember when I was a teenager, I remember being inside of a stolen car. I remember going to juvenile because we got caught. I also remember I never thought I would die or be shot and killed by the police if I got caught. I always thought the worst thing that would happen to me is I would go to juvenile detention. And now these young black males who are truly, authentically afraid. They run away, no threat, no weapon. The police officer gets to become their judge, jury, and executioner. See, if you're okay with this, because it's not you or it's not someone who looks like you, please understand, this isn't just about race. This is also about what they perceive as influence and class. You see, they think it's status. And so if they perceive you, regardless of your race, to not have a particular status, they will try this on you too. They've been indoctrinated to believe they can get away with certain things. Many cops engage in this kind of senseless activity on a regular basis, and we never get to expose them because it is successfully covered up. This is outrageous. Everyone should be on the same page, regardless of party affiliation and race. All right, Jeff, thoughts here.
A teenager, a black boy, was so afraid of what might happen to him if he were arrested or caught by a police officer that he decided to flee for his life. And the very thing he feared is what ultimately happened to him. That's going to sit with me for a while, and I think it actually should. Going back to the police officer and the idea of shooting to kill, whether or not your actual life is in danger, is such a loophole that I'm not even sure there's anything that we can really do about it, because it kind of seems that, like, ahead of time, he knew all he needed to do was say that his life was in danger, and that will rectify any decision being made thereafter. So I am truly disheartened for that family, their friends, the mother. That mother nailed it. There's many things that officer could have, should have done instead of taking out that child's life, including, if holding a gun, shooting out the tires. But that's where we are in this country.
Yep, there you go. We will follow this story naturally, bring you updates as they come. Cops decide to accost a man, physically harass. Why? Because he had the audacity to record them from inside of another building. I kid you not. Here's a video.
Michael Luna was eating lunch with his daughter when they noticed a large police presence outside. They noticed the police were attempting the arrest of a homeless man and began recording.
Get down on your knees. You hear what I'm saying?
Sir, step back! We're back that way.
I'm within the distance.
Michael begins to walk away from the scene, stopping to film the inside of one of the patrol vehicles.
Hey!
Are you taking pictures of our car?
No. Hey, I'm a First Amendment monitor.
You are taking pictures of our car.
Hey. Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on. That's just one. I'm not
He's taking pictures.
Ow.
We'll figure it out.
The violent arrest, ordered at the whims of Deputy Carlos, left Michael with massive contusions and abrasions, all for recording through a window from a public place.
We actually have more video of what happened next. Here it is.
But Michael Luna, the citizen journalist, was charged with obstruction. Deputies took him to the hospital, but only briefly, before transporting him to a sheriff's station where he was kept for several hours and interrogated. When Luna was finally released, he went back to the hospital where he was treated for contusions to his arm and a sprained shoulder. Luna recently spoke about the experience on a YouTube channel called The Junkyard News.
I heard something pop in my shoulder. Yeah. You know how they do it. They have to. I'm an old guy, fat, but yeah, So he did it, and he popped it. It popped, and even in the video, you hear, me telling him, "You pop, my shoulder popped."
As of this video, the obstruction charge against Luna remains, even though legal experts call it unfounded. Luna now has a GoFundMe page to raise money for his defense and for a civil rights lawsuit he is preparing.
Okay, let's put him up. All right. And by the way, great reporting by our dear friend, David Schuster. According to the man's GoFundMe, the incident involved the Temple City Sheriff's Department on Friday, December 30th, 2022. You're looking at Deputy Carlos and Captain Mark Reyes. They oversee the department according to the Post. Let's put up the GoFundMe. The victim. This is Michael, all right? Now, this never should have happened to him. I encourage people, let's keep that GoFundMe up because I would love for you to help this man if you are able. I often say on this show, record. If you see something, record. Everybody who knows me personally, if you ride with me or I ride with you, there's one rule. When we see someone being pulled over, when we see action from a police officer as it relates to a citizen, we are going to stop the car and we are going to sit and record every time. Wherever I'm going, they will understand why I'm going to be late. That's how important it is. You know why that's so important? It's fundamental to transformation. Dr. King created a strategy in the 60s. He said, I have to get this evil in front of everybody in order for America to be shamed into changing. And that's what he did. He engaged in a strategic operation to transform policy and thus transform this nation. We have something Dr. King never had, the ability to self-publish. We all have a cell phone, virtually everybody. And when they start doing things like this, trying to intimidate you from exercising your actual right to record, a government worker, it tells you what they're trying to do, hide things. Hide things. Now, yes, you may be criticized for being woke, okay? They may call you all kind of names. Please keep in mind, the only people that will criticize you for being woke are those that would prefer you be asleep. All right, Jeff, thoughts on this?
I'm not even going to look up LA or California law. I'm pretty sure people are able to record from their phones at a safe and considerable distance when police activity is going along. And I want to point out that the officer decided to arrest and ask questions last. I didn't know it was unlawful to not only record, but record inside the cop car. There was no request to have that man stop recording or back up a few feet. Again, it was arrest, ask, questions last. And the reason why, to go off the point you just made, and it was very well put, the reason why we need to record instances like this is because of the previous story, Nasanto Antonio Crenshaw.
Yep.
Instead of having to rely on police body cam footage, it would be great for also someone to have another vantage point so we can see that. And we don't have to rely on the police to delay in giving us the body cam footage. We can see it immediately and know what's going on, because we know every day that the police will lie in order to cover their own butts.
There you go. Well said.
I thought Karens were a myth on the internet, but I just experienced my first one in person.
I have a black man hammering a white woman. He's been stalking me. I have a restraining order of John. This is his cousin. Yeah. You're going away. If your mom bothers you, you tell an adult. No, I had a black man. He hit me 4 times. There's a black man trying to tell me. Yeah, and I have a black man trying to video me. I'm gonna let the man registered to this camera know. He has black skin. I'm a white woman. And he just tried to kill me. Yeah, you, Mr. I got a black nose ring. I got black earplugs. You need to stop talking to him like I got that. Black hair. I got black eyes. That man just did get off of us, or I will call the cops and have you removed. Your choice.
All right, I want to highlight this from the perspective of the individual recording and the other passengers who were there. We don't know exactly what was going on with this person, obviously. We don't know if it was related to something else, if it's a mental health issue. We don't know. But we do know that's a scary position to be in if you are a black male, you're on a public bus, and a white female is saying that you have assaulted her, that you are stalking her, that you have been harming her. You know why? Because we live in an era where killers who kill based on assumption of the facts don't go to jail, because they can claim, well, I believed what this person said, and because of that, I reacted. So that's the era we live in. People are getting away literally with murder because of narratives that are false. And these narratives are being utilized to justify evil behavior. So that's a scary position for somebody to be in. Now, the person recording, you did the exact right thing. You did not escalate. You did not try to combat the individual. You simply wanted to document what was happening. That was the right way to go. Others who started to notice, they spoke up as well. And then eventually she was told, you can hear the voice, and I think it was the operator, the bus driver, say, it's time to get off. All right? All right, Jeff, thoughts on this?
Bus driver, anti-Karen, good job. And you know, Dr. Richey, help me out. Have we finally reached a point where people can stop pretending that they don't see color? Like, this is example number 4,080, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, when people say, I don't see color, first of all, that's the first indication that you're dealing with a liar. Unless they are actually blind, They see your shade of pigmentation. And to suggest that you don't see color as a way to proclaim that you are not racist is not the way, is not the route to do so. All right. That just tells me you don't give a damn about the biases that historically marginalized communities actually experience. You don't care about that because everybody should just be like you and not see color. All right. Something for you. Double dose.
You don't need this either.
I need it. You're not going to send it.
I'm not, and you're going to take this elsewhere. You're not going to have my stamp on it. Okay. You're going to take all this elsewhere.
And I want you to call the police because I'm going to sit here and yell till you call the police. You got
and you won't get your
You always tell me.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Record it.
You
What's her name? I'm calling this. I have the number of the supervisor here. What's this name?
It's your name. Whatever your name is, that's that yours.
I'm calling the supervisor. I have the direct line.
Okay, call him. 310-268-0624.
I'm not leaving. You call the police. Just call the police. Call the police. Call the police. I'm not leaving.
No.
I'm not leaving.
Okay, you can do what you want.
Why wouldn't she tell me where to put it? I asked her very nicely to tell me.
You want a broom?
I want you to tell me why she wouldn't tell me where to put the return receipt.
You're going to give yourself a heart attack yelling like that.
Why wouldn't she tell me? Okay, I'm not leaving. You're going to help somebody else. I'm going to stand right here until you get the police here. Hell,
Ma'am, let's put up the picture, full mask, all right? So there's a part of me that actually understands. I've had to stand in lines at the post office myself, okay? You got to stay strong, Karen. You got to stay strong. Obviously, something happened prior to the recording because there was a reason they started recording. And according to the narrative, this particular Karen in question was yelling. All right. And so they decided to not only record, but then deny her service. This is not the way to make a government employee at a post office do a damn thing for you. They hold all power in that moment. All power. The power of the stamp. All right. Jeff, while I do kind of understand, you got to be careful. I mean, Karens, you really got to be careful in public places. But that Karen had no fear of actually being arrested. None.
Well, if this would have been the Bureau of Motor Vehicles or the Waffle House, it would have been dealt with swiftly. You know, you told the Karen to stay strong in these situations. And I'm like, man, if anybody's strong, it's the woman dealing with the Karen.
Yes,
she's
Lord.
got experience and she's got know-how and she is an expert. This wasn't her first time. So she's strong. Be strong like the anti-Karen, Karen.
There you go. And I'm going to say this as I guess, a PSA to all Karens. The post office only hires anti-Karens. That's it. It's a prerequisite qualification. Listen, we actually reported on this story first, all right? Brett Favre stealing millions from Mississippi. That's according to many. All right? He has been in the news, obviously, for it. We also talked about the son of Ted DiBiase. Similar deal. Got a bunch of money from the state of Mississippi, poorest state in the United States of America. Well, that son has been charged. Let's put him up full mass. So former WWE wrestler Ted DiBiase Jr. has been charged for his involvement in the latest and the largest corruption case in Mississippi, the welfare scandal, okay? Misappropriated roughly $77 million to people like him. But the money was intended for low-income families. Let's keep his picture up. Ted DiBiase Jr. is a welfare king. Okay? Deal with it. Court documents show that DiBiase, along with co-conspirators John Davis, Christy Webb, Nancy New, and others, obtained federal funds from the Emergency Food Assistance Program and the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, TANF program and misappropriated the money for their own personal use. Once again, money for poor people in Mississippi, money for those who need it in Mississippi. Mississippi, already the poorest state in the country. The leaders are robbing the community. There's more. After these federal grants were issued, all right, Davis, the former executive director of the Mississippi Department of Human Services, would direct MDHS to subgrant the funds to the Family Resource Center of North Mississippi, Inc., FRC, and Mississippi Community Education Center, which were two nonprofit organizations operated by Webb and New, respectively. There's more. Davis would then allegedly direct Webb and New to give money to individuals and companies through BS sham contracts. Okay? According to the Department of Justice, at least 5 of those contracts were for the company of DiBiase, Priceless Ventures, LLC, and Family or Familia Orientum, LLC. DiBiase's company were given millions of dollars in federal funds for social services and a few other things that, according to the narrative, they never provided it, did not provide, and did not intend to provide. Now, why is that part important? The wording is really important. If you don't provide it, that's actually different than never intending to provide it. If you simply did not provide it, that's a different statutory element of the crime, okay? Because you can't prove malicious intent or fraud. If you never intended to provide the service, that means that your entire engagement was fraudulent. That's the difference in that language context, okay? All right, so let's put it up. Got a press release. So according to a press release from the Department of Justice, DiBiase allegedly used the money to buy a vehicle, a boat, as well as make a down payment for the purchase of a house, among other expenditures. The statement also reads, DiBiase is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and to commit theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, 6 counts of wire fraud, 2 counts of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, and 4 counts of money laundering. Once again, who are they stealing from? Poor people. What money is being allocated? Over $70 million meant for people in Mississippi who actually need it, who deserve it, okay? There's more. The brother, all right, this is interesting. Brett and father, Ted DiBiase Jr., Sr., were also allegedly involved, okay? After federal audit was completed, DiBiase was asked to return $3.9 million. Now, that's a whole lot of money, okay? That's a whole lot of money. While his father was ordered to pay $722,299. That's not chump change. Brett was asked for $225,950, but he pleaded guilty in December 2020 in state court for making false representations to defraud the government, and then pleaded guilty to a federal charge in March of this year. Now, let's put it up, because obviously this is probably the most high-profile thing about this entire debacle. We're talking about the scandal of NFL legend Brett Favre. The Hall of Fame quarterback has not been charged, not been criminally charged, and denies knowing that the money he was receiving was, in fact, welfare money. Now, if you remember on a previous show, I actually provided the text messages that have now been made part of the public conversation, where it clearly shows that Brett asked the right questions. And the other individual who was part of the scheme, allegedly, provided the answers that made him feel safe, because he wanted to make sure in these text messages that nobody could trace how the money got to him. Now, who in the hell would pose a question like that unless it is a drug deal or something corrupt? All right, Jeff, the plot thickens, but we actually covered the initial story when many people said, this is a big nothing burger. Now you have charges.
And I'm glad you weave Brett Favre in and out of this story, because he is somehow evading negative attention like it's a quarterback blitz and it's like 3rd and long. Yep. This man is incredible. Now, while you were talking about much of this, a montage of the many times that pundits and politicians talk about Black people abusing welfare and social programs, and even going as far as means testing it, like food and other benefits. You have to have certain amount of poverty in order to get those things. All of that flashed before my eyes while you were talking about the DiBiase's. And one thing I was just thinking about was like, okay, the DiBiase's bought a boat and a car. Can you imagine if a poor Black family in Mississippi used that money that they deserve to buy lobster and shrimp?
Yeah,
there would be so much outrage. Like, apparently when you're using these benefits, you're supposed to go to the bottom of the barrel and use, I don't know, modest amount of money in order to get modest amount of things. And so, yes, let's put the focus back on the DiBiase's, and you did a great job of that. And of course, Brett Favre.
That's right. All right, we will bring you updates, guaranteed. They are coming. Lawsuit claims that police officers actively discriminate against police officers. Wow, really? Let's put it up. The picture, New Jersey State Police Department. In the New Jersey State Police Department, led by Superintendent Patrick Callahan. They have now been accused of workplace violations from 17 former and current officers. In the lawsuits, they allege they experienced discrimination, retaliation, and harassment because they belong to minority communities. Allegations in a law firm's documents cites the lawsuit. The documents portray a work environment within the NJSP that promotes white men over qualified minorities, despite the former's histories of DUIs and harassment. The documents and the troopers described a workplace condoned by Superintendent Patrick Callahan, who was appointed acting superintendent in 2017 by former GOP Governor Chris Christie, and was nominated for the position by Governor Phil Murphy, a Democrat, in 2018. Let's put him up. So New Jersey Superintendent Patrick Callahan, despite criticism over his leadership in the past, the governor, the Democratic governor, still supports him. Okay? In the documents, Burnham Douglas, the law firm representing the troopers, cites allegations from those who experienced discrimination because of their race, gender, or sexual orientation. The documents also show that around 84% of the 3,181 troopers employed by the NJSP are white males. White males. Even though the law enforcement agency serves one of the most diverse states in the nation. Blacks or African Americans made up 15.3% of New Jersey's population as of July 2022. That's according to the U.S. Census. While Asians made up 10.3% and Hispanics and Latinos were at 21.5%. Let's go to Michelle Douglas, an attorney at the law firm, calls the hiring and promotion of minorities at the agency abysmal. Brian Polite, one of the plaintiffs named in the lawsuit and the only Black male major in the NJSP, was bypassed for promotion and was the subject of racist remarks. Polite is the commanding officer of sections that oversee recruiting and the diversity and inclusion unit. There's more. Promotions were allegedly not granted to two openly homosexual troopers, John Hayes, a white male, and Jamie Lassick, a black woman, who both sued the NJSP under the New Jersey law against discrimination. They filed their lawsuits after being bypassed for a promotion that was granted to a heterosexual, lesser qualified male because their supervisor told others, I'm not creating no lady blue and gold unit, and I'm not creating no LGBT unit, according to the documents. The Lady Blue and Gold was a resource group of enlisted female troopers started in 2002. In a statement to Newsweek, Douglas says, and I quote, imagine you follow the rules. You attain academic accomplishments such as a law degree, a master's degree, and PhD. You train, you score top tier in all testing processes. But because of your skin color, nationality, or gender, you're not promoted in the face of mostly white guys who get promoted above you, not because they earned it. Rather, they belong to the same informal frat club, end quote. So well said, and so spot on. Now, if they are engaged in this kind of discriminatory behavior internal of the police department, what do you think they do external of that professional industry? If they are engaged in this kind of extreme bias, prejudice, and racism among those who wear the same uniform and literally are supposed to be on the same team, how do you think they treat those who they deem to not be on their team? Dear brother, thoughts here?
So much for merit. I thought they wanted the best person for the best job. Yeah, this is completely damning in so many ways that you outlined, but what that last officer said was spot on. He had that 100% correct. He knows exactly what's going on here. It's bias, it's discrimination, it's racism in the police department, indoors, outdoors, in-house, outhouse. And it's amazing how many teams there are among the police based on a lot of factors that we cannot control.
Yep, there you go. All right, we got more on the other side. It's indisputable, stick and stay. This was a hell of a story. The police steal a protester's car, according to the protester. Here's the video.
They're in your car? So they're stealing her car?
Yeah, he's driving my car with my brother.
After speeding off and driving like they stole it, because they basically did, they drive the car to the parking lot of a school, block off an entrance, and box the stolen car in with their cruisers, putting the car out of view. I don't know about you, but if my car was being towed and the police were involved, I certainly wouldn't want the cops moving my vehicle from its original location without my consent, or getting inside my vehicle at all with the possibility of them tampering with or planning God knows what before the tow truck even arrives, especially when they didn't provide any paperwork documenting literally any of this.
What is wrong with people? Like, you just took that car and now they about to try to run off. Y'all bitch ass. Now y'all want to run off. Now y'all want to run off. Get that girl her car back. Get that girl her car back. She got killed. Get that girl her car back. Y'all just gonna leave that girl stranded at the Circle K. Get that girl her car back. Get that car back. Give her her car back. Y'all can't take that girl's car. Now y'all gonna run that man over? You can't take that man.
After a wild goose chase, or should I say a wild hog chase, the cops are found in a third location with not one, not two, but 3 of our activist vehicles, and they're making multiple arrests, one being of a 14-year-old child.
Targeting activists. Beautiful. Took an oath to uphold the Constitution. All you're doing is spitting on it.
Let her go! Let her go! That is a child! You're abducting a child!
Why haven't you contacted the parents? He's a minor!
For a police department that is supposedly understaffed and stretched thin, the Akron Police Department sure does have enough resources to harass, intimidate, and retaliate against community activists and organizers who've done nothing but try to hold them accountable to the bare minimum standard of not murdering people.
That's insane, is it not? Shocking. Something like that would happen to anyone in this country. Shocking that any law enforcement agency would engage in such conduct, right? All right, so allegedly, this was during a protest over the killing of Jalen Walker. He was unarmed. They decided to release a firestorm of bullets into his body, okay? It hit him over 40 times. Those bullets ravished his body. He should not have died. He should not have been shot. He should not have been killed. The people were protesting a righteous protest. I have never seen cars being stolen by the police. Never seen that before. That's a new one. Let's put up the chief. Buck stops with him. He's the man in charge now. Corruption is especially high under this particular chief. His name is Stephen Milett. Okay. He's the chief of Bellevue prior to Akron, and he is a significant reason why you have things unchecked in the police department. In a survey conducted by the city, more than half of the respondents say they felt less safe than before. This is what policing looks like under him. All right. Okay. Obviously, more information needs to come. We're trying to get more information, establish more information. If you have that, make sure you get in touch with us at Indisputable. Jeff, thoughts on this?
Yeah, floating around Ohio, there's a bunch of videos of these same police, the same police department in Akron, macing individuals and pepper spraying individuals who seem to be peacefully protesting. I'll put that seam out there just in case there's something I missed in video. But there's a lot going on in Akron because the 8 officers who shot at this man, I don't know, 90-something times were let off recently. So there's a lot going on. Yep. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the law. I cannot foresee any reason why the police would need to get in somebody's car and drive it away and put it somewhere. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, just weird and seemingly unnecessary, possibly criminal. It seems to be a heartless YouTuber, but maybe there's another side of the story. We'll get into it. Here's a video.
Los Angeles, California has the 3rd biggest homeless population in the United States. And today it's my job to make sure there's one less hungry person on the streets.
Hey, excuse me, sir. Hey, I was wondering, are you hungry by any chance, man? All right, man, I got you. Would you like a Baconator, fries, a drink? Is that cool? All right, what's your name, man? Israel. God bless you, Israel. I got you. I'll be right back, man.
One Baconator combo, please. Yeah, what's up, bro? Yeah, man, I got you a Sprite, large fry, got you a Baconator, man. I was homeless myself, so I want to make sure you get on the right path. You're always able to, get back on your feet. So I want you to enjoy this. This is really good. All right, take care. Have a nice day.
Let's put up the picture full mass. Okay. YouTuber Trevon Sellers is being slammed for mocking homelessness in a now viral video. The video was actually posted last month. Mr. Sellers is seen in the video taunting what appears to be an unsheltered man in a parking lot by pretending to offer him a meal and then eating that meal in front of him. Viewers are calling him heartless, cruel, and sick for the stunt. In a post on Monday, responding to the outrage, Mr. Sellers claimed the man who appeared in the video was a friend, and that the entire video was actually scripted. It was not real, according to him. But viewers were not satisfied with the explanation. One person asked, what was the purpose of this video, even if it was staged? In the updated caption to the original video, Sellers wrote, I asked him beforehand if we could make this video, and he agreed to be in it. I gave him some money and food before we even started recording. In the latter part of the original video, which did not go viral, Sellers returned to the same spot with another meal, but by that point, the man had left. Instead, he took the meal to another group of men beside tents on the side of the road and offered them the meal. The first person said, no, we don't want none of that ish, but another man accepted the food. Let's put it up. In the last year, the content creator has amassed a following of roughly 30,000 people posting videos of himself harassing the homeless and other members of the community. In other videos and posts and photos on his Instagram, he even dresses up as a homeless or unsheltered person and performs stunts in public. Also, let's go to this part of the channel. It says not a prank channel. It clearly is stated at the top of Mr. Sellers' YouTube page that it is not a prank channel. All right. Let's put his picture up again. You know, I was deeply saddened, dear brother, when I saw this video. And even if you made an arrangement, sir, with the individual who has gone viral along with you, I would caution you in this way. Making fun of things that we should take seriously is never a great idea. Making mockery is always foolish. Instead of laughing, dear brother, how about you learn? The wisdom that human beings have, regardless of status, is something that should be cherished. I encourage you to utilize your platform to make a dynamic difference and actually become part of the transformation of this societal construct rather than a reflection of what it tells you you must be. All right, Jeff, thoughts?
I'm a YouTuber myself. I create content in order to gain an audience. It's not easy. My best friend is a stand-up comedian. The art of writing a joke and telling it is very, very difficult. So I don't know if him saying that his channel was not a prank channel is in and of itself a prank. I don't really get it. I'm not going to tell him how to create that content. I will say that he is not apologizing. And so, as you just said, Dr. Richey, I hope he can learn from this and build and grow. I hope this man or this kid, I don't know how old he is, can build and become successful at whatever he does. But that wasn't it.
Right. And I would say this in parting. There are some people who deserve their dignity to be snatched from them. Those who are unsheltered and not among them. Right. All right. Dear brother, always a pleasure having you on the program. Tell people how they can follow you and check out your great work.
Yeah, I'm on Rebel HQ every single day, and I have a YouTube channel called We Gonna Be All Right. Come and check me out.
There it is. All right. Until next time, my friend. Okay. Bullpen is next. Stick and stay. Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bullpen. In the bullpen today, we have someone who was incarcerated wrongly for many years, exonerated, not before he was physically attacked by correctional officers. On April 6, 2022, Sam Randolph was fully exonerated and released from Pennsylvania's death row after serving 21 years, for a wrongful conviction, a crime he never committed. After everything that happened to him, his dream and goal is to start a nonprofit, give back to the community, and help other people. Despite being exonerated and released from prison, Sam is currently disabled and confined to a bed. Why? Well, correctional officers in a vengeful attack on May 18, 2009, while he was handcuffed, defenseless, was led into the yard. COs assaulted Sam, slamming his head, then his body forcefully to the ground. 2 guards fell on him and they crushed his lower back, injuring his spine. Due to this, he requires 24/7 care. Sam is a strong spirit. We have him on the program. Sir, good day. Welcome to Indisputable.
Thanks for having me, sir.
Brother, you have one of those stories where obviously you've had to overcome a lot, but a lot has happened to you, and it should not have. So I would like you to give us your position, your point of view to the criminal justice system, what happened to you, and why do you still have so much hope to give back?
Okay. So my nightmare began in 2001. I was wrongfully arrested, incarcerated. My trial occurred in 2003. So I sat out there. 2003, I had a 2-day trial. I was just railroaded in 2 days. They convicted me of 2 capital convictions. In addition to that, they sentenced me to 58 to 116 years for crimes that they knew full well I didn't commit. They had the evidence of my actual innocence. So from that day, I was immediately taken to Pennsylvania's death row, straight from the courthouse. And so when I got up there, the guards up there, they were just extremely racist, abusive, and they constantly attacked people. I used to be one of the grievance filers and filed grievances. That's how I became a target for them.
Mm-hmm.
You said they assaulted me. So I spent a lot of my days doing lawsuits, working on my case, trying to get my evidence back into the court. On death row, it's a long, tedious journey. The courts move extremely slow at snail's pace, right? The case just drags through the courts. So as I was fast forward to the judge, he granted my federal habeas. It took a long time, but the evidence came out. The judge even told the prosecutor to turn over the exculpatory evidence of my innocence, which they had all along. They tried to hide it, had Brady violations, where the prosecutor was hiding that, knew that I was innocent. So when I was finally exonerated, it took so long, but my hope is because when I knew I had the evidence, and then when I finally got out and got there, what I want to do and continue to do, like you said, is to reach back, because I know I left a lot of innocent people in there. It's, and I got a platform. I want to utilize that to reach back and help those that I left behind, because sadly it happens far too often.
Man, that is so powerful. Mm-hmm. That is so powerful, brother. So habeas corpus, it basically means give me the body. It's when the government can look at evidence and the judge can say, listen, I can't overturn it, but I can get them out of this jail. I can get them out of this facility. So that means the evidence had to be pretty conclusive. You did not do it. Absolutely. For something like that to be granted. How long did it take, and what was the process to get someone to pay attention enough who had the authority to say, get him out of that jail?
Oh, wow. So even though I had the evidence, some of the evidence that I had, it was DNA evidence in my case. None of it me. They hid that. At the time that it happened, my mom owned a bar. We had a family establishment. It was a bar. I ran the day-to-day operations for my mom before and after the crime. So they knew where I was. Not just that, at the time of the crime, I was actually on the phone. When the crimes were being committed, I was actually on the phone, and they had the ping information identifying the location. They hid that, so I couldn't get in court because it would show I was nowhere near the crime scene, right? It was the dirty cops that paid people to lie and give false testimony and drop lots of charges just so they can give false testimony against me. And so once the federal judge seen all this stuff that was happening, he was so mad, then he told the DA to turn it over rather than with discovery. That discovery process, he told the DA, turn all that evidence over. So the DA came back to court and said, Your Honor, all the evidence was in my office, but we don't know what happened. The whole file disappeared. We don't know where.
Wow.
But he didn't want to turn it over. The judge was so upset and frustrated with it because the evidence of my innocence was obvious, right? And but this DA that was on my case, and it's a lot of DAs like this all around the country, just pure wicked, and this DA in particular has a pattern and practice of convicting a lot of innocent individuals, especially those that look like me, right? And no problem keeping me on death row. Children having to grow up without me. We lost everything, my mom, and it was just crazy, especially when I got one time they signed my execution, gave me 60 days. They were going to execute me in 60 days. My mom seen it on TV, and no one told her she had a heart attack because she was watching the news and they said they was getting ready to execute me in 60 days, right? But it's just crazy, and it happens a lot. So that's why I just want to continue to work and do what I can.
You were exonerated, completely innocent of the crime. The record has been set straight now. Obviously, they cannot give you those years back. They cannot give the years they took away from your family. They took away from your children. They can't give you that back. Inside of the facility, you end up getting severely injured by the actions of correctional officers. Tell us about that. What happened?
As you said, on May 15th, 2009, I was on my way to the yard to exercise. So what they did is they handcuffed me behind my back, and on death row, we're isolated 24 hours in our cell. We only come out to go exercise 5 days a week. So as they was taking me, they was plotting, and as they was taking me through the hallway, that's when 3 of them jumped on me, assaulted me, and as they threw me to the ground, 2 of them landed on my spine. And as you're saying, so that's where the injuries are, L4 and L5 of my lumbar spine. I've been confined to a bed since. But the abuse and torture didn't stop there. Once that happened, they really started torturing me. They left me in a cell from that day on. They force fed me. They force fed me 11 times. They was trying to kill me. They force fed me 11 times in a 3-day span. Instead of putting it in my stomach, they deliberately put it in my lungs and was drowned.
Oh my gosh.
I'm handcuffed to a bed, shackled to a bed. And what they was trying to do, they kept telling me, we got something for you. We was going to kill you. Right. And so they did this. You can only force feed someone to preserve life. I was never on my deathbed, but they just went and got a security court order to force feed. And what they did, their plan was, let's kill him. Then we'd say we just botched, it was a botched procedure, but we had a legal order to force feed him. But they should have never force feed me. And they did it 11 times in a 3-day span. And every time putting it in my lungs. Just drowning me, nothing is all on video, just pure wickedness in there.
I want to do this. Put up his GoFundMe. There are a lot of bills. That you have accrued because of the action of these individuals against you. For those who are watching, I would love for you to support the GoFundMe. Mr. Randolph, I have to ask you, out of the experiences, especially the one where they literally jumped you, was anyone charged with a crime?
No, sir.
Okay.
Never charged.
Never charged. Now, you became a target. I heard you say this earlier. You became a target because you were writing grievances. I know what that's about. It's a grievance form. It's a process inside of the penitentiary where you can literally fill out the complaint. You're supposed to be able to have a safe and secure way to process it. This is to help with treatment of those who are incarcerated because you have abuse happening from detention officers. What kind of grievances were you filing? And do you think it was one particular grievance that made you a target, or was it simply the fact you were filing them at all?
I was filing all sorts of grievances. I literally filed hundreds of grievances. They rejected every single one of them. So I was cited retaliation, retaliatory abuse, constitutional violations, everything that was going on that was occurring in there. And then, I'll fully exhaust those grievances. You got to appeal them. They're going to deny them. And so they're worried about lawsuits too, right? Bringing lawsuits. Mm-hmm. And so what they do is they just, no matter what, is just deny everything, but you're still required to fully exhaust it through their in-house procedures. So you got to go up to central office that oversees that prison and before you can go to the courts on it. And
yeah, Yep. It's required. It's called exhausting administrative remedy. So if you don't do that part, you can't go to the next level.
Exactly. And so once I fully exhausted those, went to the filed 83 action, took the cases to the United States District Courts, with lawsuits. So what they did is they tried to settle the lawsuits. I ended up filing several lawsuits. The ones that caught for my injuries, they tried to settle it, but they just said, we'll give you $15,000. You have commissary money, but we're not going to fix your back. Why would we do that? You're on death row. We're getting ready to kill you. So no, we will settle it and give you $15,000. Of course, I rejected that, and I've been fighting, my legal situation and my medical situation since. They kept me in the day that happened. They never took me out of the cell again. I didn't have a shower in 14 years. They just kept me and let me languish and deteriorate in the cell. They wouldn't take me out. They were just trying to make me lose my mind. They kept me permanently isolated. Sometimes in the windowless cell, I couldn't see outside, no sunlight or anything. They wouldn't let me see my mom. They'd play games and tell my mom and family to come up there. And then they'd say, oh, he refused to visit. After my mom traveled miles, they played the games with the mail. It was just pure torture and hell, over the years. And what they was trying to make me do was just, go insane, permanent isolation. They used that as a tool of abuse as well. Never take you out the cell. You don't get a shower. They starved me a lot. And I wouldn't even eat their food because they had spit in it or spray disinfectant on the food. And I had my own food in the cell at the times that I can get it or my mom send it. And
all right, so we have a technical issue.
Sorry.
Okay, all right, we're back. Go ahead.
So, yeah, as I was saying, they basically just kept torturing me and kept me permanently locked and isolated in a cell.
I hear all of these obvious violations. No question about it. Has anyone from the federal government contacted you about any of these claims to investigate any of these claims? Have you been contacted by anybody?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm going to send this interview directly to Senator John Ossoff. Senator John Ossoff has led multiple investigations into prisons all across America, and he's been able to uncover some of the same things you experienced. They have it documented. These things are happening inside of penitentiaries. For your continued strength, your continued legacy, you would like to give back. And that's what you're doing. You're giving back. What is it that drives you to remain strong and committed to obviously an idea that's bigger than you?
I've been definitely blessed with a strong spirit, but this injustice, this fight and everything that we're going through. And it's the systemic issues. These issues happens everywhere. It's widespread. And I know it happens. And like I said, I left a lot of people there, and I want to fight and reach back and try to utilize that platform so I can help everybody. But it's my spirit and drive and this injustice that we're all facing here in this course, and it's a lot. So I want to continue to fight against that and help bring people out of that system, where it's happening. And I'm gonna continue to fight and do what I can, and hopefully, I can, galvanize people and get people to don't wait till this injustice lands on your doorstep.
That's right.
Fight and do something. Join this fight with and alongside me, so we can fight together, before it even happens to anybody else. It's going to continue to happen, but we can do what we can, right?
Yeah.